for the simple fact that you're God all by yourself. And God, even before we ask you for anything, we just want to take some time to give you praise, to give you glory, to give you honor for just being who you are, God. We thank you that even in a global pandemic, God, we can call up on your name, God. And not only do you hear us, but God, you also answer us, God. We thank you for that, God. You don't get our requests mixed up with anybody else, God. You don't get confused about who asked what, but God, you navigate the realities of everyone's request and manage them as only you can do in a divine way. So God, we just say thank you for that. Even as we call upon your name in this sacred virtual space, God, we thank you for all those who are here under the sound of my voice today, God. We just ask that you would simply have your own way, God. You know the requests that have been made known, God. You know the state of our country, God. We've heard from CNN. We've heard from ABC. We've heard from NBC. We've heard from MSNBC, God. We've heard from Biden. We've heard from Trump. But God, we need to hear from you, God. We need you to move by your spirit as only you can do, God. We know that things are not the way we intended they would be at this point in 2020, God. We're upset, God. We are angry. Many of those have lost their hope in a major and marvelous way, God. God, we're upset by Ahmaud, God. We're hurt because of Brianna, God. We're distraught because of George and so many others that I can't even begin to name in this prayer. But God, you know that you take our anger, God, and God, you feel for us, God. You understand the emotions of our lives, God. And we ask even now that you would move as only you can do, God. Heal the land, God, as only you can do, God. Move by your spirit in such a way that we'll know that when it's all said and done, it wasn't by our strength, God. It wasn't by our prayers, God. It wasn't by our might, but God, it was only by your power and by your spirit, God. We know that you can turn a man's heart as though it's a channel of water, God. So even now, we ask you to move it only you can do, God. Let justice roll down like waters, God, and let righteousness flow like a mighty stream, God. Be with all of those who participate in this election, God. We bind all demons of voter suppression. We bind any ploys of the enemy, God, to suppress or repress the vote in democracy, God. We know even now that you've already ordained how the results will be. So, God, we ask that you would just simply have your own way, God. Get the glory out of our lives, God. Get the glory out of this election, God. Get the glory out of all those who are calling upon your name, because, God, we know that if we call on you, God, you will answer us, God. You hear us, God. You participate in our lives. So, God, we're not going to wait until you move to bless your name, but God, we're going to praise you even now on credit, because God, we know what you're able to do, because God, we've already seen what you've done in the past. So, God, move by your spirit, God, move by your power, God, and we promise that if you're faithful in moving, God, we'll be faithful in blessing your holy and righteous name, because God, we know that regardless of who's in the White House, regardless of how our bank account looks, regardless of how our life looks, God, you're still worthy of our praise, even despite our private pain. And God, we know you still get the glory out of our lament, just like you get the glory out of our worship. So God, be with us, stand by us, keep us in your care, God. Do what only you can do, God. We'll be ever so careful to bless your holy and righteous name, God. And we ask even now, if there's anything that I failed in asking, God, please don't fail in granting, God. We love you and we thank you. And we seal this prayer in your son's holy name. Let us all who are under the sound of my voice even now say together, amen.